Week 1 is here. We're all well rested. I think we're the only sports show in the universe that got the day off on Labor Day, and that's why I love Open Adams. And I love FanDuel and FanDuel TV because we are well rested. We have 3 days, oh my gosh, until the NFL season starts. FanDuel Sportsbook, full of great stuff, full of fun futures. We're going to give you some of our favorite things on today's program. I will be in Brazil for the game on Friday between the Chargers and the Chiefs in the AFC West. We're going to get you guys all the scoops, everything you need to know about that one. Oh my gosh, NFC East action on Thursday. I can't wait. I truly am so excited. I'm really excited about this rookie class. These rookie receivers, which wasn't even much talked about going into this year, but I love the Abukas, the Matthew Goldens. I think they're going to pop on the scene and make a huge impact starting week 1. We have so much to get you on the show to help me break down some of the top storylines. Of course, the fallouts of Micah, what's going on, the latest NBC Sports wizard, good friend Chris Sims is on the program, and we will be joined by great friend, Hall of Famer, Chicago Bears legend, Devin Hester is here as well. So much to get to. We have made it as kickoff week. Get over to FanDuel Sportsbook, do your thing. There are so many fun little futures situations up there. I've got some great ones I think that are sort of like trickled around the sportsbook I saw, which I love. So yeah, go have fun. It's up to you. You're in control. It's choose your own adventure, like we used to read, in those scholastic book it things to get the free pan pizza at Pizza Hut. It is choose your own adventure for the futures over at FanDuel Sportsbook. And we've made it, and we've got Cowboys, Eagles, couple more days. Let's take a look at the week 1 slate, shall we? Let's do it. Philly, 8.5 point fave in the kickoff game on Thursday night, as you are seeing. 6.5 before the Micah trade, 7.5 last night before jumping another point this morning. You got Chiefs, Chargers, Brazil on Friday. I will be there for that one. As I said, KC a 3-point favorite right now. And then on Sunday, we get Micah's debut. Assuming all goes well with whatever is or is not going on with his back. Packers 2.5 point faves now over the defending NFC North champion Lions. Speaking of that Micah trade and the Packers, do I want to get into, this happened, it was kind of a wild day. I don't really think I want to talk about the actual Micah trade, what it means, whatever, because I already said before it happened, I think this makes them the favorite in the North. If he's healthy, if all these things are considered, I think it would make sense. I think everybody's coming out of that division beat the F up. I think it's going to be so fun. It makes everything more wonderful. Chicago fans so upset, maybe just in the moment, maybe whatever. But so there's a lot to get into here. Devin Hester will help us unpack. Devin Hester, by the way, grew up a Cowboys fan. And then, of course, played for a team that hates the Packers for 8 beautiful years, unforgettable years. How did he feel about that? I saw he was at the Notre Dame game, chopping it up. Ryan Poles also there. Did they talk? We'll get to that with him. But for me, Hamilton, you can pop on here if you want. The thing about the trade is that it just made sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Salem witch trial action. There's a lot of giving me there's also giving me and I take it because I think it's so funny. I'll take when it happens, sure. When I hit one out of the park, a blind squirrel finds a nut vibes, fine, great. Things just made sense, It just, we look at the salary caps. We look at how much do you feel? That's why going to these training camps is so important, because when you get there, you're yeah, maybe I'll ask about Micah. And I asked the Chargers about Micah, if you remember. I asked Khalil Mack about Micah. And I think that they also were probably interested. I don't, I'm not an insider. I don't play that role. But I do think you look at salary cap, you look at what might separate them. And if they're right there, if the window, if they're just why not make the swing? And then you kind of will for it to happen. And it happened as I was at Netflix. And we saw, of course, Laura Rutledge and Michael Irvin. He was doing press, I believe, for Netflix, The Gambler and His Cowboys, which he's prominently featured in Ups, Downs, Sideways, all the little bits streaming on Netflix. And he was doing a lot of press that day. And I think he had Laura, and then I think I was right after, and I'm on with him as this trade's happening. I don't have my phone. The Netflix Sports Club podcast is very like no phones, nothing on the tape. So I had nothing. And I'm there and I'm talking to him, and he's just adamant as we saw him, of course, in the viral moment with Laura, who did such a great job. But like, I'm sitting there like, I don't think so, man. Like, I don't think so. And he was like, I'm going to call Micah. And he was so dug in, even more so than what I saw on that bite. Like maybe as the day went on, he got more convicted about it or something. And then I'm like, Michael, look what just happened. Like, it was just absolutely bananas. And it was a lot of disbelief. He was also, where was he this weekend that we saw him?
He was at that Miami Notre Dame game with Devin Hester too.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk about with Devin, like what was, Michael's take on that, as far as like leaving the Cowboys. And there certainly is that side to it. It was just sort of wild. I like look up and he's traded, and I was just almost convinced that he wouldn't be. It was sort of wild. Nothing wilder, of course, than the fan reaction. Chicago, I was getting brutal. And this isn't about, but just Chicago, like understandably, like this sucks. Like things are going great for us. And now they get a piece that sort of swings the way that they're looked at. I get that. And then I didn't hear anything from Cowboys fans. I don't know if they just like detached or what, or whatever. I'll get to Kenny Clark in a second, because that's been heavy on my mind all weekend. But the thing that I saw this morning that was crazy is that a man named Nico got a tattoo. So this Nico Says Things, said if Kay Adams helps get Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, I'm getting a Kay Adams tattoo. I don't write the rules. To which, of course, I'm taking the fact that I wanted this to happen, said I was fan GMing this to happen, and the trade actually happened was crazy. But I did not think this would happen. And I do believe this is real, Matthew. I believe Nico.
It's real.
And what does that say on the bottom?
It says Kay did it.
Nico. Okay, I look gorgeous. So I'm not like, that's that with the cheese hat on. Nico, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Matthew, what do I say in this situation? I guess it's really commemorating the moment. I do have to say, I really didn't put a call in to Jerry. In fact, I said that this trade probably can't happen because of the beating that the Cowboys took at the hands of the Packers and Jordan Love and all of this. I simply connected dots, and then I was excited. I was excited that it happened, and of course now all this downfall of back stuff and whatever. We're still living in the moment, okay? Trades like that don't happen. You know what? Nico's always going to remember. He's going to tell his grandkids someday.
As he shows them that tattoo. And I mean, have to be that. It's great artwork, It really could have been like a, one of those, the Ronaldo bust situation where, something got a little mangled. They nailed it. It's a beautiful job.
I'm surrounded by men who don't commit to anything. This is the most commitment I've seen out of a man in my purview in a long time. I appreciate that. Like you're committed, but you also keep your word. I don't see that every day either. So you said you'd get the tattoo if it happened. It happened. Kay did it. Sure. I love that. That should get you free entry into the Oval Office, by the way. Anytime you want. That should get you free cheese curds wherever they might come. Like, does anybody have a tattoo of Brian Gutekunst? That's all I'll ask. I'll wait. Anybody have a Goody tattoo? I don't know. Again, this was just something that looked like it made sense to me and kind of like a wish, and as fan GM, something that I liked. And then the Dave Mulligetta, Jordan Love Micah Parsons connection sort of made sense. It just made sense. That's it. Okay. By the way, Bears fans, let's take a look. Bears fans so mad. I don't even know if even the legend Devin Hester can help me at this point. My goodness. Let's take a look at FanDuel Sportsbook and these odds though, after this huge, colossal blockbuster trade, all the big adjectives. Let's take a look here. Micah, okay, the Packers favorites to win the North. Who said that would happen? Me! Plus 170. The Lions still ahead of them. When it comes to winning the NFC at large, that makes sense to me. Green Bay getting the third best odds there at plus 650. Cowboys, they go from plus 186 to make the playoffs all the way down to plus 260. Whew, only the Panthers, Giants, Saints are getting longer odds to make the playoffs out of that conference. Okay. I do want to say before we go to break and bring in Chris Sims, I feel for Kenny Clark. Okay. I love Kenny Clark. We made like these reels of me badgering all of the Packers about the Micah trade because just with the inkling that it might happen. And I didn't think I did not know Kenny Clark was involved. I did not think that he'd be involved. I had no reason to think that. So he's like in these reels saying, I like who we have. I'm in there talking to him about how he's the longest tenured guy at just 29 years old. So I just wanted to take a little moment and talk about the greatness of Kenny Clark as a piece on this Packers team for over a decade. I feel for him here. I think he's going to have a lot happen well for him with the Cowboys. We have a little change of scenery, but he was set to hit year 10 in Green Bay. And 3 Pro Bowls. He was sort of the anchor of the D line. I know Packers fans and Packers, fans are definitely feeling that this morning too, and just over the weekend. Cowboys wanted a starter back in the trade. I get that. I just wish we could have seen Kenny be part of this with Micah. When I was talking to Kenny in Green Bay, it was you and Micah. What would that be like? All those things. So happy to hear him say the welcome he got from Jerry Jones and Shoddy made him feel wanted and blessed, which I love. I'm excited to see what he does in Dallas. And shout out to Kenny for giving me his time. He's got a big fan in me. And maybe all the Chicago fans who hate everything. Okay, we're going to take a short break here. Is on the show. Chris Sims, my buddy, is here. He's shooing stuff off over on NBC Sports all morning. I've seen the clips, but let's get into it with Sims after this. I'm going to do those predictions somewhere along the way.
Okay.
I think we'll find push them back. We didn't really have a plan for Thursday or Friday, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow, A block too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like Nico could have backed out of it because he said it the day you were there at Packers camp when that still seemed like there was no chance in hell that Micah trade was happening. So he would have.
You know how many things I've said and not stuck like.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Now we can't hear you at all.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't touch anything, but okay, we're good. This little mic's coming to Brasilia with me.
Oh boy. That's to look forward to.
It'll be great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, it's hard to get a better matchup down there. Environment's going to be crazy.
I'm very excited. I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so, I feel like how are the Chiefs going to come out,
Yeah.
What are they going to take it as like they're the team of the world? They know that that's no small thing to expand your reach there. Like what message? There's so many messages to send, right? Or do they come out and just like, hey, Pacheco's healthy, let's just run? Are they going to, obviously with Rashi not out there, some of the guys, what's Jalen Royals up to right now? Is he okay?
I know he missed practice on Sunday.
Like,
So
I
that's
know we're
still
going
up
to
in
see
the
the
air.
deep ball.
Yeah.
That's like the set. I want to see the fireworks. Do we see, like, do we see them
I
week
think
one?
they
We
come
have
out
to,
swinging.
right? Yeah.
I think they come out swinging. Absolutely. Divisional game, all that. Andy on the script. He's been, God knows how long he's had these plays scripted for.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see him pull. I really think we're going to see him pull out all the stops.
Yeah, but like Hollywood's not I just wish they were all 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's still a legit shot Jaylen does not play.
Ah! How's Hollywood? Hollywood's back though.
Yeah. And they got Juju still.
Week one, Jayden, talk to me. What are your thoughts when I say that?
I'm gonna get you back, boy. I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you.
Can you paint me the picture of what that looks like?
If you ever see two brothers that head to head over a basketball game, last point of the game to win, that's how it is between me and Jayden, head to head all the time.
And so you're gonna get him back statistically with the win?
Statistically, yeah, with my win. I'm coming back. I got to get him back. He up 2-0 with me.
Ooh, Malik and those Giants take on the Commanders in Washington Sunday as part of the early window slate. Malik had 19 catches in 2 games against the Commanders last year. We'll see if he can pick it up and get a first win over them on Sunday. Joining me right now, an analyst for Football Night in America. It's back on NBC. Football is here. Co-host of PFT Live, host of the Chris Sims Unbuttoned show. Chris Sims, happy belated 45th birthday, by the way. Hey.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Yeah, it's crazy. 45 is one of those like weird landmark birthdays where you're like, what? Am I really halfway through my 40s? Am I really 5 years away from being 50? So it's a little odd one, but I appreciate that, Kay. Hope you're well. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, I love that little self-deprecating moment with your dad. I thought that was really, really well done.
Thank you very much. Well, like self-deprecating, no joke. I came in that day. He was announcing a game, right, for Peacock and doing Illinois, Western Illinois. And I kept telling everybody, hey, we're doing the pregame show. And it was my birthday. And I kept going, I guarantee my dad does not know it's my birthday. Like, he's just not that kind of dad, right? You know, he's got to be reminded. He's never been like that. He's great in all areas, but stuff like that's not necessarily a strength of his. So I think my sister texted him the night before to remind him.
I was going to ask you who texted him. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, you'll always remember it as the Micah Parsons trade situation day. I don't know if it was the exact same day, but I think it was, right?
It was. Well, yeah, it was the Micah Parsons trade happened. Hold on. That was Wednesday night, right? That was Wednesday night. My birthday was Friday. So it was 2 days before. But either way, I'll never forget where I was for that Micah Parsons trade and all of that. That was a monumental moment. That's for sure.
I mean, we've seen in their primes, Eric Dickerson, Randy Moss, Herschel Walker, Khalil Mack, Christian McCaffrey. Where does this rank on the list of biggest trades in NFL history?
It's really up there because what I would say with some of those ones you just mentioned right there, Micah's more in his prime than I think maybe any of those guys. Maybe you could argue Marshall Faulk and Khalil Mack. They'd be right up there with it. But like Micah's still in a upward trajectory. I don't think he's even a finished product yet. That's where it's really special to me. Reggie White, right? We saw that trade back in the day. That to me gives me shades of Reggie White. Like, hey, the Packers are really good. They're missing a guy on the defensive side of the ball who can make big plays in a big moment, right? What you need, the NFL, everybody you ever talk to, the game is so close. The games are so close. They only come down to 2 or 3 plays. That's the difference in the game. Well, that's where guys like Micah Parsons can make a difference. Big strip sack in a big moment, disrupt a play and mess it all up so somebody else can make the play. He's special. I mean, he and Von Miller are the only 2 humans that I know that have been compared with my dad's old teammate Lawrence Taylor, right? Other than that, it's a short list. He's generational type of talent here. Every metric, every stat will say that, the sacks, the pressures, the disruption. And let's not forget, early in his career, he was playing a lot of stand-up linebacker and not even being able to rush the quarterback to the same extent some of the other pass rushers were in football. So phenomenal trade, great for Green Bay. Dallas, they continue to kind of get in their own way of certain things.
That's certainly true, and we can certainly get with that. I'm looking at that list, and I think Marshall's probably the one to beat, right? Because he won the Super Bowl that year.
That's right. Yeah, he was awesome, and that was big news. It was like, what? The Colts are trading Marshall Faulk to the Rams, and then he exploded there in St. Louis as well.
Instant impact, super dominant, wins the Super Bowl. If Micah does that, then he'll be, he will be remembered forever as that. You mentioned Reggie White, they go in the Super Bowl. That's what's on this team's mind. They're saying, we're right there. We believe in ourselves enough. Jordan Love's great. This is the team. Let's go get it. Micah's the odds on fave to win Defensive Player of the Year, plus 500. Is that your pick to take home the award? We've got some odds here for you.
It is actually. I actually just did my podcast here a few minutes ago where I kind of predict Super Bowl. I do the playoff predictions. I do Super Bowl predictions and all the offseason awards, right? So, Defensive Player of the Year. I picked Micah Parsons. I went chalk there. One, they got a lot of talent up there in Green Bay. They're creative on the defensive side of the ball. I expect him to have the opportunities and the support around him to where he can put up some special football numbers. And like you said, if they're one of the top seeds in the NFC or a really top-ranked defense and he's got the numbers to go along with it, I think Micah Parsons has a very good chance of winning that Defensive Player of the Year.
This morning I heard you on the Cowboys' perspective. You said you think Dallas basically raised the right flag. Shoddy said, I want to win the Super Bowl. That doesn't change. Can you paint me the picture of how Dallas could win without Micah?
Well, there's still talent on the football team, right? I don't see them in the Super Bowl window. I don't see that. But offensively, you look at it and you go, hey, if they play their best there, they got the potential to be a real pain in the butt. They got a good, young, talented offensive line. Those two receivers and Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, we know are special. Dak Prescott, to me, one of the strengths of his game is standing in the pocket and throwing the ball down the football field. So you could see that and go, ooh, they're explosive. Defense, there's still playmakers there. There is. I mean, we know Trayvon Diggs, DeRon Bland, they can do that type of stuff. You talked about Kenny Clark the last segment. He's a damn good football player. He's going to help them out there. But I think also what I'm saying is I think Dallas by doing this is a little bit like, hey, we're not where Green Bay is. Green Bay's in the Super Bowl window. They got a quarterback. They got an offensive line that's damn good. They got one of the best running backs in football. Receivers are something that we can kind of evaluate as we go here. Defensively, man, they got defensive linemen, secondary. They got it all. So I think the Packers are making this move because they're going, wait, we're in the window right now. We don't need these future picks. Our team's set up here for the next few years. We need this difference-making player that's a proven commodity. Dallas, on the other hand, I think they go, hey, we're good. We're competitive. But we're not like a real Super Bowl contender. Maybe we can get in the playoffs. But I think, they're looking at this a little bit more about the long play, whether that could be use these assets that we got, these draft picks, to maybe get a quarterback in the draft at some point in the next year or two, right, and prove their football team. They've kind of been stuck in this spot of like, hey, we're real good, but we're not as good as the top teams in the upper echelons of the league. And maybe this trade with all these assets makes them get over the hump here in a year or two.
I do think I think it was shocking to everyone, but I went to 18 training camps and I was asking every team what's up because I think a couple of years ago I had the idea you can't pay both Dak and CD and Micah. Something's going to give, like something's not going to work out. So I feel like there was a bit of painting yourself into that corner on the Cowboy side. Like this was a bit of an inevitability. Like, should they have prioritized Micah over the others?
Definitely. I mean, Micah's the only one that's guaranteed no matter who you talk to, everyone's going to go, he's one of the three best defensive players in football. I mean, for me, he's been the best defensive player in football for the last 3 years at least. I've been saying that. To me, he is Dak? The man.
They should have prioritized Micah over Dak. Tell me more.
Dak is the highest paid quarterback in football, and I think if you ask the majority, and me included, is not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football. That you want to know why their team isn't what it is? They drag their feet on contracts. Like, yes, you say, oh, you can't pay all these guys and do that. And I go back to what Joe Burrow said. Well, the Eagles do because you have to get out in front of these things. See, they always drag their feet, don't handle the situation the right way, and it costs their team other players and more depth, right? To where if you got out in front of the Dak Prescott contract and instead of paying him $60 million a year, you could have got him for 48 or 50 back in the day. Oh, that $10 million difference each year year, that's 2 or 3 players on your football team. Same with CD Lamb. They could have got Micah Parsons last offseason for $35 million. Done. Boom. Wow, there it is. Now we can organize our team in a way, and we save money that we're not paying them $47 million like the Packers are, to where we can get other good players to help out our football team. But the Cowboys consistently don't handle these situations the right way, and then they end up letting the players have all the power, and then the players hold their feet to the fire for every last dollar, and that is not conducive to great team building. That's one of the big problems in Dallas right now.
I could just Church of Sims, like let you cook. And then of course NBC has the Cowboys Eagles game to kick off the season. Are you on that one? Or are you Sunday night?
Oh yeah.
Bills? So both.
No, so I'm always pregame, right? We'll be on the field in Philadelphia for the kickoff game. And then for Ravens Bills, which is going to be awesome, I'll be here in this studio you see me at right now, our normal football night in America spot, right? So yeah, we got a great weekend. There's some great football games here. And Dallas, I know, is going to be a motivated football team. They're going to want to prove they can win without Micah. I'm sure they know what they're against. It's the Eagles. The Eagles are one of the most talented teams I can ever remember. They're as well put together team as I can remember in the last 20 or 25 years. That's how good they are. So it should be a good matchup to kick off the year, you know, with the theatrics of the Eagles and, of course, the Dallas Cowboys.
Football Night in America. Can't wait. Thursday and Friday. We are double dipping with Chris Sims of NBC fame. Week one will be amazing. Before we get into the slate and what it looks like, and maybe some questions that I want answered. I mean, you just mentioned Bills, Ravens, Lamar, Josh Allen. You cannot get better. It is like absolute cinema unfolding for the entire nation. Which direction are you leaning in with the Bills? What are you looking at as you see what this game's all about?
Well, I look at the Ravens and the Ravens are going to be motivated by the game they lost last year in Buffalo. They dominated that football game and lost the game, right? You know, and didn't play their best football in a big moment. That's the big thing. I know I took a lot of heat for coming on here and going, hey, Lamar Jackson's got to throw a better football with the 2-point conversion. All right, I'm still stand by that. That's just no. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen ever. Now, both can be true, and this is where I hate social media. Yeah, I know Mark Andrews should have caught the ball, but the $55 million best quarterback in football right now should have thrown a better football too, right? So they messed up opportunities. If you go back and watch that game, Baltimore never got stopped. They just stopped themselves, right? Lamar threw a bad interception. He had the bad fumble. Isaiah Likely fumbled in the middle of the field wide open. They did whatever they wanted. I think they are clearly a better team than the Buffalo Bills. Plus, they're going to be pissed off and motivated about what happened last year and all of that. But to me, one of the themes of the year is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are two of the greatest quarterbacks you're going to ever see. They're Hall of Famers. They're first ballot Hall of Famers, but they don't have that Super Bowl hardware to go along with it to make all the public kind of realize it. But yeah, they're that kind of type of players, and can they get to the Super Bowl this year is certainly one of the big themes to me.
Everybody's picking the Bills. Everybody's picking the Ravens as their Super Bowl champion. You said that Lamar could have made a better throw on one play, right, on that 2-point conversion, but you did put him as your number one quarterback, right? You ranked him as the best quarterback. I love that. Does that mean he's your MVP pick as we take a look here at the odds?
You know what? He is. He is. And I'm giving you the answers to the goods here before I even release it on my own own podcast, okay? But I like you so much that, yeah, I'm going to take Lamar Jackson for the MVP. You know, and listen, these 4 quarterbacks right now, Lamar, Josh Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, it's as good a 4 quarterbacks at the top of the league as you're ever going to find in the history of the sport. That's how awesome they are. They are. I mean, this is, I almost, look at this and just go, wow, it's these 4. They're a step above everybody, right? They're unbelievable talents. They can carry their team. They can run an offense. They can be surgical. They can do it all. So, yeah, I expect Lamar with that team, right? The Ravens and the Eagles, I kind of look at those 2 teams and go, man, it's hard to find many holes on that roster. They, to me, are the 2 best rosters in the sport. And, yeah, I'm expecting them to match up in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm expecting. And, I'm picking Lamar Jackson to win the MVP.
I am so freaking excited for this season. I don't know if it's that I feel like I'm more excited than seasons past. I don't know why. The storylines are so amazing. The coaches are fascinating. I love this rookie class. We had just had a blockbuster trade to lead us in. There's this whole dynamic of the Chiefs and like, is their reign over? Like, what is the AFC West? Like, that's sort of the storyline that I'm most interested in. It's such a question that I want answered. As you look, not just here at the week 1 slate, which I think we have and we can pop up, but just for the season, Chris, what question are you most excited to get answered?
Well, I think that Steelers offense, what do they look like?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, right? Such a big year. That's one where I certainly am like, Aaron Rodgers showed some ability to hang in the pocket and be aggressive down the field late in the year. And I want to see if that continues into this year with Pittsburgh, because that's kind of even his kryptonite. The last year in Green Bay, in New York early last year, he doesn't stand in the pocket and he's not as aggressive, and he still can make big time throws with his arm. So that's a big one. The Lions and their new coordinators, right? I think that's another one I look at off of the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. We're all going to be tuned into that. But the Lions losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn to the head coach of the New York Jets, that is a big deal. And Ben Johnson, for my money, is really the hottest offensive play caller in the sport the last 2 or 3 years. So you can't take that lightly. That's one I look at. One of my other themes of the year, Kay, here that I've been saying is I think this is the year the Denver Broncos upset the Chiefs and win the AFC West. I think this ends right here this year. Yeah, Sean Payton, the team they have, the quarterback, all of it. The Chiefs, man, I mean, they're amazing, and I feel scared to doubt them. But I just kind of feel like, hey, how many years can they climb to the top of the mountain and do all that? I'm taking the Broncos to kind of upset the world in the AFC West there this year.
Take me into why. You just said the Chiefs are amazing. I think
they are.
The gap has closed.
Yes.
But that can be true. But the overtaking, talk me through that.
Yes, I know. So the Chiefs, they're still awesome. And trust me, I know who's at quarterback there. He's arguably the greatest quarterback.
Awesome. Chris, they're better. Are they not better? They're better. They're not just awesome.
Well, don't hold on to last year. It's a new year. Last year, yes, I know they.
Chris, we're finally getting this year what we thought Patrick would have last year. We're finally getting.
We'll see. We're not going to have Rashee Rice, right? And I got to see it first. We've had 2 years of Chiefs playing defensive football and kind of just barely winning through the defense. It hasn't been dominant, right? I would go back into last year and go, maybe the only impressive win of the year was on Christmas Day against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who cares? They've gone to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years. They could be going to 8
I
straight
get it.
AFC
Nobody, listen.
games.
I'm the champion of I take the Chiefs over the field. I mean, I'm the guy that said Mahomes was the first pick of the draft when he was coming out. So trust me, I don't take this lightly, right? But I look at, the Denver Broncos with one of the greatest coaches we've seen and definitely one of the best play callers in the last 20 years in Sean Payton, a quarterback that I think is awesome and really fits what he wants to do, 100%. An offensive line that's got a lot of talent, right? So all of that, a running back they drafted in the second round that I'm a big fan of. The receivers are better than I think the public realizes. And then the defense was one of the best defenses in football last year, and it only got better. You had the defensive player of the year in Surtain. They got Hufanga from the 49ers at safety. Huge. They got Dre Greenlaw, who's one of the best linebackers in the game. I would be shocked if the Denver Broncos aren't one of the 3 best defenses in the league. So with all that said, I think this is the year that sets up for them to finally dethrone the Chiefs there.
I could see it happening. It'd be an easier pill to swallow. Like, I just feel like these are just clippings that are, I still feel that way. I still feel like people doubting the Chiefs, it's just going to get clipped off. And
I know people at the Chiefs, and they see what I've been saying lately, and trust me, they're motivated, and they're motivated to prove people like me wrong for saying stuff like that. So it scares me to death.
It's not just you, it's kind of everybody. And I think the fatigue, you obviously, we both know that with the Patriots. I would just say, I'd feel better about being like, this is the year that it shifts. I think this is the year that it's more interesting than ever. I think this is
I don't disagree there.
I think everybody got better, but everybody got better. And I don't think you can say the 3 got better and the Chiefs didn't. They won 15 games without Rashee Rice. I think people forget that last year, and it might have not been cute, but now they are going to be more explosive. I think this Josh Simmons kid looks great. I feel like the line's going to protect. I think they want to send a message, and I do think that there is an intangible, though maybe they don't want to talk about it or admit it, to the way they got beat in the Super Bowl and what that might do to a Travis Kelce. Do you know what I mean? In sort of
I hear you there. They're
launching
a motivated
the next
group.
3 years. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
Listen. I know. I don't anything. I'm not going to argue with you here. I'm not. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm totally with you there. They're scary as hell. I think the other part of it is just, I look at that, and you were talking about the AFC West and everybody getting better. I think the Chargers are damn good, right? That's going to be a fun game to watch on Friday night in Brazil. It's the greatest group of coaches in one division in the history of the NFL. That's the thing that jumps out to me about that division. To have Harbaugh, who's been to a Super Bowl and won the national championship, Sean Payton, who's won a Super Bowl, Pete Carroll, who's won a Super Bowl and a national championship, and then, of course, Andy Reid, who's now in the running for the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. That's an unbelievable division right there. It really is. I can't say enough about it.
Which coach do you think we'll be talking about? It'll be just a household name after this year. There's so many fun ones to choose from.
There really is. There's a lot of good ones here. I'm very bullish on the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans are going to be better than people realize. All right. So I do like D'Amico Ryans, but these 2 guys, really these 3 guys at the top here. If you just want to talk about the new guys that I'm a huge Mike Vrabel fan. I'm picking the Patriots to sneak into the playoffs. I think they're one of the teams that won. Yeah, I am. There's always that team that comes out of nowhere. The Patriots are that team for me. They won one of the teams that won the offseason. I love Vrabel. Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator. I look at that and go, I think they can make some moves this year. Ben Johnson. They're in a tough division in that NFC North, but man, I love Caleb Williams, and you heard me talk about Ben Johnson before. I mean, he's as good as it gets on the offensive side of the ball. And Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, I'm expecting a bounce back year from them too. I think their team is more talented than you expect. I didn't have the guts to pick them into the playoffs, but they were one of those teams where I was like, I certainly could see them making the playoffs, but I didn't make that choice. But I'm a big fan of Liam Cohen, and I think he's got Trevor Lawrence on the right track here.
Chris, I want to keep you through the break and keep going with this, but if you want all of the picks, I don't know who your Super Bowl pick is. Don't say it. You guys have to go listen to Chris Sims Unbuttoned. You can catch him on PFT Live and Football Night in America on NBC. All of his picks, Chris does not give an F. He will tell you what he thinks, and he watches more tape and prepares better than anybody in the biz. So, Chris, I appreciate it. We'll take a TV break, but you're still live on YouTube as we keep this going. I don't know, do you think the Patriots, they're better than the Broncos? They're better than the Bengals, do you think?
I mean, that was another tough one, right? With the Bengals, they, of course, have an elite offense. But, man, their defense scares me, as you can imagine. One, it wasn't very good last year. We had all this drama and stuff going on all training camp. They didn't look good in the preseason. They got a new defensive coordinator who I'm not sure – his scheme has the talent there that fits his scheme quite yet. So, they scare me. They scare me. As much as I love Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and think they can score 30 points a game, I think they're one of those teams that, they could score 30 points a game but still lose 33-30 or 36-33. That's what scares me about them. I didn't have the guts to pick them to the playoffs because of that defense. I got to see it a little bit first before I start to believe on it. I'm not just going to throw a dart at the board and go, oh, okay, Bengals, because it's Joe Burrow and the weaponry around him.
I keep saying, they have the Browns week 1, and then they've got the Jags week 2. Easy games. Last year they lost to the Patriots, right? That's what happened. Right. They upset the Bengals. And I'm seeing, I'm going to show you 5 of the biggest week 1 dogs. And I want you to pick who has the best chance of pulling up an upset quickly. All
right. So let's see. There's your Titans. All right, let me just look at that. I think if I had to choose one right there, the one I would choose was the New York Giants. The Giants.
Let's go.
Not that I'm expecting huge things from the Giants, but I do think the Giants are going to be more of a pain in the butt than people realize. Their defense is real. Yeah. Yeah, and they're desperate, and they've played well, and we know that their butts are on the hot seat there in New York, right? This is a big game for them, and I look at that, and their offense is a little better than you think. So yeah, I'm going to take the Giants to upset Washington, or at least cover the spread there.
Hamilton, I hope you hear that, because he was asking me for a bold prediction, and I said Giants are going to be good. He goes, how good? I'm like, well, I'm not willing to say they're going to go to the NFC Championship. Anyway, we have like 25 seconds. I did not watch a second of college football, but I know something happened bad with Arch Manning. It was not great, off target on like 37% of his throws. Give me the one thing he needs to focus on heading into game 2.
Well, they're going to be fine. You couldn't pick a harder environment to start. Ohio State, national championship, tons of NFL players, plus Matt Patricia, new D coordinator, so you don't know what to expect there. He gave them a masterclass in NFL defense that Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns just were not ready for. That's the bottom line. Arch Manning's going to be fine going forward, Kay.
Love seeing it. Thank you, Chris Sims. You're the best. Happy season. Good luck this week, and get some sleep.
Thank you. You too. See you, Kay. Be good.
See ya.
You better get up out my way, catch a fade.
The electrifying Devin Hester.
He's going to take it all away. Devin Hester has done it again for Chicago.
And he is unbelievable.
Every time we watch him, he's scoring.
Where do you kick it? Here he goes. It's Hester. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
This is unbelievable.
How exciting is Devin Hester?
I'm being told Devin Hester is here. Always a special day when the legend, the only return specialist in NFL history in the Hall of Fame, is here. And you're wearing your, listen, I'm not a college football girly, you just heard me, but I know there was a lot of this. How exciting was that to be there?
Man, it was awesome, man. Just to open up the game with a team that just played in the national championship game, and to come in the game with a new quarterback and not knowing what to expect, and to come out with those guys being favored to win the game, and then, upsetting them guys is a great start for us.
You were there in good company. I wish I was there. I don't know why I didn't get the invite, Dev, but it's you. It's Michael Irvin. It's Edgerrin James, Ray Lewis, Andre Johnson, all there. What was that like? Take me into these conversations. This is amazing.
That day, man, felt like we was back in Canton, Ohio, at the Hall of Fame ceremony and things like that. When all us reunite, and we sit at the table and we chit-chat, and it was just almost feeling like we're back in Canton again, fellowshipping and meeting up again.
Did you see that you had, what was it like to have a new son for 24 hours? Did you see any of this?
Say that one more time.
What was it like did you see this Furman's Devin Hester Jr. Return kick for 75 yards? What was it like to have everyone on the internet give you another son for the day?
That I actually heard about him when he was in high school, and a lot of people called me then, Ison, was that my son? And I said, no, that's not mine. It's what a real coincidence that he has my exact name, and he's a junior, and it's spelled the exact way. And, I get a lot of buzz about that situation, but I'm telling everybody in the world that's not my son.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was viral everywhere. Everyone just sort of assumed that, but I mean, he wouldn't have gotten pushed out of bounds if he was your son, right? I want to ask you about this Micah trade. It's like the biggest thing in the NFL right now. What did Michael Irvin have to say about it?
He ain't like it, when I watched the document on Netflix about Jerry, then this incident coming up, then you can see why he didn't make this keep this guy around. Michael Parsons is a guy we can all say he's the face of the defense. He not only affect the defense side of the ball, but he affect the star players, the captains on the team, because everybody look up to this guy. This guy probably is the most vocal leader on the team. And when you try to go in a direction and try to make it to the playoffs and things like this, guys like CD and Deck, those guys are very upset because, every year you go in the season saying this is our season. And to go in the season like this saying that we're losing our number one player, the face of our franchise, this late in the season, we all thinking that this deal is going to get done, and then a couple weeks before the season, he gets traded. It's hurtful for the team, and it's hurtful for Michael and his family too as well.
When you say it's hurtful to the team, like I'm trying to imagine, like we were talking in our morning meeting and it was like, what if Urlacher, while, got traded? Like they couldn't get a deal done with it, just how important he is to that defense, right? Like what do you think that team is feeling? Do they see it as just business? Is it like, when you're saying it's hurtful to the team, what do you mean by that?
For me, as a player, when a situation like that happens, if you bring up a situation with like me in Chicago and Brian get traded like a week or two before the season, I'm like, okay, we're rebuilding. So this season don't even count. That's the way I feel. We're trading our number one player on the team, the captain of our team. Okay, I'm looking at this is a waste of season now. We might as well not even play this season because the GM, the manager, is telling us right now that this is a rebuilding season for us. So it's like a waste of season for us. It's how I would be feeling if I was on that team.
You said this season doesn't even count. I bet you were. I mean, did this hit you, Devin, at all? Because you grew up a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I was shocked because, like you say, I felt like the deal was already done. I don't know what happened in between, but at first they said that they was close to getting the deal done. It was pretty much he's getting ready to sign a deal, and then 4 or 5 hours later they said he got traded to the Green Bay Packers. So I was very shocked. Like I say once again, in this situation, the move that the Dallas Cowboys made, it almost told everybody this is a rebuilding season for us.
It's absolutely wild. And I was with Michael Irvin as the trade happened. We were on a Zoom like this for Netflix. Wow. But he was like, it was right before, it was during it happened. It didn't happen. It's not happening. There's no way. Right. But then I don't know that any of us are, I mean, I'm not that shocked. I would ask like, why, I feel like this is the way that things go there. And you couldn't pay everybody.
Not with a player like that, though. It's shocking when you got a guy that's on a down, a downfall where he's at the end of his career. But Mike Parsons is still in his mid-20s. You know what I mean? This is not a player that's 34, 35 at the tail end of his career. He's in the prime. Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, for him, it's tough. I'm pretty sure he didn't have no clue that this was gonna happen, and probably till like maybe 2 days before it happened. And at that point, he still probably couldn't believe it until it really actually happened. And I'm just shocked that the Cowboys made that move to really let him go.
Devin, you're looking at footage of him, number one at practice as a Pack. I mean, you grew up a Cowboys fan, so that hurts. Then he goes to this rival that you had as a Bear for 8 years. What does he do to that team? What does he do to that division?
Now we got to see him twice. So that's for me. That's a minus in my book because now we got to play them twice. And with the type of defense that Green Bay normally runs, the edge rushers, they get a lot of stunts and things like that to make plays. So and then he play also at linebacker too. So I hate to say it, but Green Bay Packers normally have a lot of success in their defense. So with a guy like him, man, it's gonna be scary to see them play Chicago twice.
You were really high on the Lions last time I talked to you. Do you think that FanDuel has it right? They have the Packers over the Lions to win the division. Do you think the Packers win the division? I know I hate to say it.
Yeah, I think so. I like the Packers beating the Lions. Now, I think the Lions, if we really talk about football, the last 3-4 years, Detroit has really, really made a name for themselves. And why I say that? Because their offense. 10 years ago, while we having this conversation, we really didn't talk about Detroit like that. Detroit was a team that we knew in our division probably was going to be last in making the playoffs. And that's just when I was playing. But I can honestly say that the last 3-4 years, Detroit was right there on the verge of being one of the teams the last 2-3 years predicted that they were even brought up to particularly even making it to the Super Bowl. And it's because of the offense that those guys had, the schemes, the OC that was there, which is a Chicago Bear now. He was there. And what he did to Detroit Lions really, really brought back hope in those guys. You know, last year, late in the season, Detroit was one of the best teams, you know, when you sit there and watch football. You know, these guys are averaging 34, 35 points a game. I don't see that happening now if their offense get changed around. I think the OC is going to come in there and try to copy a little bit, but it's just different when your whole OC leads the team. I don't think they're going to be the same team.
Well, now we have their OC, right? In Chicago.
Yeah.
We are here days ahead of kickoff. The Micah thing was a bit of a punch in the stomach, I think, for a lot of Bears fans who want to be excited. How excited are you? Because I feel like last year the hype was greater because Caleb was coming in and all of the weapons were there. Now he's got weapons, a new OC. I know that you wanted with Caleb specifically, get it out your hand quicker. You said you got, I know you were at practice. What are you seeing? How are you feeling?
I feel like, to be honest, I feel like this is, last year we was anxious about Caleb, what he can do with the weapons. I think this year, no disrespect to the OC from last year, but we have an OC that has proven itself over the last couple of years of what he did with Detroit Lions, right? The Detroit Lions, like I say, a couple of years ago, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we didn't really talk about Detroit Lions. The last couple of years, Detroit was one of the hottest teams, and it was because of the offense. And now we're bringing that offense to Chicago. I think Swift is going to have a great year this year. I feel like this is the type of, because when he was in Detroit at the time with this OC, it's when he really made a name for himself. And when they brought up the rumor about another team offering him to trade him, and he said he don't care how much they're willing to give him, he's going to stick with the Chicago Bears. I know why. And it's because of the OC. You know, I feel like this is going to light a spark up on the Swift where he's going to have an amazing season. And then on top of that, I feel like Caleb is going to do great in this offense. When
you were there and things that you're hearing, you're close to the team, you're close to these guys. What does Caleb look like? Does he look different, better, comfortable?
I feel like he's comfortable because of this offense. This offense is a unique offense where it keeps up with the trend, you know, with clothes, with shoes, the new hairstyles. It keeps up with that, with the OC. This is the type of OC that keeps up with the trend. So it's a copycat league when you watch the Kansas City Chiefs on how they run their plays. Why every time they run plays, everybody seems like they're open. It's because the OC is keeping up with the trend. They're not in the old days where we going to stand in I formation and we just going to run the ball down your throat. No, they're spraying the guys out. They're running a lot of trick plays. Every play looking like a trick play. Those are the type of offenses when you watch nowadays where they have a lot of success because you keep defense on their heel and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to play you guys.
It's a playoff team?
Most definitely. I can see them making it to the playoff this year, for sure.
So 3 teams make the playoffs out of the NFC North? I think so. Do you think so?
I think so too. I think 3 teams make it this year. Just because, of course, we're going to have to play each other in our division, but outside our division, I feel like Chicago, I feel like Green Bay, I feel like Detroit would be last. I feel like Minnesota would go in front of Detroit.
What?
Yes, I'm telling you, with the OC change, you guys will see with the OC change, it make Detroit the last 3 years was known for their offense. Mm-hmm. If we really want to be honest, you take away them averaging 20, 28 points a game, you take that away, they lose a lot of games. The defense was okay, was pretty good, but it was their offense that kept the defense off the field a lot. And when you got an offense that's 3 and out constantly throughout the first half, those defensive players are worn down by the second half. Now I don't see that offense keeping that defense off the field so much. I feel like that offense is the first couple of games going to struggle. And when it's struggling, it gets the defense tired because now they're on the field more.
What I'm hearing here is, we're going to take a short break here, we'll talk through it. What I'm hearing here is like this man, Ben Johnson, has you buying it.
He has me so. I mean,
it all goes back to Ben.
You're right. And then, you know, a lot of people don't like to say it's preseason. These guys putting up points in preseason. But when the first team is out there, you watch these preseason games, you're like, wow, we haven't scored 38 points, 35 points. And I don't know when the last time we scored 35 points.
But Devin, I met Ben like the next day. We'll take a short TV break here. So why you should subscribe to the YouTube. I met him and I was like, congratulations. Like as a Chicago fan, you don't know what this game meant. And he didn't say this, but he was like so annoyed with me about it. Cause he's like, why are you congratulating me about a bullshit preseason game? Like when, and I liked that, but I was like, no, you don't understand. Like what we saw was like hope and faith and all of that. Did you get to meet him and talk to him?
Yeah, of course. I met him and talked to him, and I told him,
Is he like a machine, or like what was he like?
He's a down to earth jokester, man. And and the first thing he said was, "Man, I wish I could have had my hands on you when you was playing." So
which receiver was there a player there that you're like that was I mean, I think Rome's gonna have a top 10 year. I really do. I think him and Caleb are like this. What do you think? Any what did you notice, or what do you want to say about the Bears? What's your prediction?
I like the Bears. I like them to win 10 games this year easily. I like them to go. I would like to win 10 games this year. So I like it. I like what I'm seeing. Everybody, like I said, everybody's saying it's preseason and blah blah blah. But you do get a little taste of how your team is going to be in preseason, and we got a spoonful of what this offense can do. You know, with the amount of time that they had. So I'm anxious, and I know these guys are anxious to get a real live game in.
I mean, and they got the Vikings. They're underdogs at home. I think they're 1.5 point underdogs on Monday Night Football. That's, I mean, 10 games. They got their division. I don't know, you know, for their record to be good. I'm excited to see. I love that you have faith in them. I love that so much. I wanted to ask you about. So Tom Brady did a podcast with Chris Collinsworth, who we know and love of PFF fame. And Tom said that he considers he flat out said Aaron Rodgers is the greatest passer of all time, that he can get the ball from point A to point B better than anybody. You played against Aaron for 6 years. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I think Aaron, what makes Aaron so successful is he can read the defense pretty quick. He knows when they're disguised. You know, he get a lot of pre-snap read, get a lot of, caterings to get the defense to show what they're in, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, he gets the ball out quick. That's making him so unique because he's able to pick up the defense before the ball snap and be able to get the ball out right away.
Okay, last one for you. That's exactly what he said. I love that you're co-signing that. Rodgers and the Steelers, 2.5 point favorites on the road against the Jets. What do you think? Who wins that? Like 5 seconds. Go. I
think the Jets will win this one.
Yeah, because you love Justin Fields. Let's go. I love you. Thank you so much, Devin. Appreciate you. Go Bears.
Okay, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Deb.